Avatar, Fire and Ash. I rewatched the first two Avatar movies to get into the mindset of Avatar, to get into the mind of James Cameron, and that was a very bad idea. I spent way too much time watching these movies, and it made the third one worse because this third movie is excessively repetitive. But before I get into my thoughts of the third one, if you want to know my opinion on the first one, good. Second one, bad. And the second one is bad for one reason. It brought back the villain from the first one somehow. And I wouldn't even call him a villain, I'd just call him the bad guy. And this choice to me was extremely lazy storytelling and made the rest of the movie just feel boring and lazy. And this third movie picks up from where the second movie left off. It doesn't do a major time jump like it does from the first to the second. And at the beginning of this third movie, the family is traveling and they come across a fire clan. And for the first 20 minutes of this movie, I thought it was going to be really good. I thought that I would be recommending this movie to people. But, well, I recommend the first 20 minutes. This first action scene involving the fire clan felt new and different and exciting. And there was also one other scene that I really enjoyed, and it was an escape scene about halfway through the movie. And if I say escape scene and then you go watch the movie, you're not going to know what scene I'm talking about because there are so many escape scenes. There's so many times where the kids get captured, somebody gets captured, and we got to go rescue them over and over and over again, telling the same thing from the movie in itself, but also things from the first one and things from the second one. It's just getting so repetitive at this point. It's like James Cameron came into the room and said, everybody split into 4 groups, okay? You each come up with a different storyline and we'll fit them all into the story somehow. So these 4 groups split off and they say, the kids are walking through the woods and each other, and then the kids get captured and then they have to figure out how to escape them. And James Cameron just said, yes, to all of them. And they filmed this one and the last one, and I think some of the future ones at the same time, which is pretty cool. But also it just seemed like some scenes didn't really fit in this movie. I don't know if they were meant to be somewhere else at first in the storyline and then they got moved over. Sometimes some scenes didn't connect. And there were also a couple times where a beautiful scene was there and it looks cool, like this dragon was in the fire at one point, but I didn't understand why that scene was shown in the middle of something else going on. The bad guys in this movie are so insane. I wanted them to die so bad, not because I was hating their characters, but just because I was so annoyed that they were still there. I can't believe that these bad guys have not died yet. There's even a point in this movie where one of the bad guys gets drowned in the depths of the sea, taken to the bottom, but you don't see him die, so I'm not convinced. And there are quite a few bad guys. In my head, I'm count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the movie. And that's just the bad guys. And as for the good characters, there's a lot going on. I did like how the new narrator of the story is Jake Sully's son. In the first 2, Jake is narrating, and now the narration has passed to his son, which is pretty cool. So I thought they were going to focus on him, but then by the end, the arcs are given to different characters, if you can call them arcs, and there isn't a solid story that you can latch onto just because there is a lot going on. And it works for world building, it works for something cool to look at, but it doesn't work for a cohesive story. I will say that Neytiri is my favorite character. She definitely is the one with the most soul. All the rest of the characters just feel like placeholders for the story. I just imagine James Cameron above there just playing with these characters as if they're puppets. And then when he wants one of the characters to die, he's just like, flick, you're gone. And it means nothing to you. It just kind of serves the story's purpose. And now that we have a third Avatar movie, you can call them Avatar movies. And I guess in Avatar movies, you need a big battle scene at the end of the movie. And this one didn't necessarily need one. And I think they just felt like they needed a big battle scene because that's what we have in Avatar movies. So they shoehorn in this side story so that the characters can have a big battle at the end. So in the end, Avatar movies are what they are at this point. I was sitting by this random guy at the movie theater next to me and he said, I like him. That was pretty awesome. It looks so great. And he got what he expected. And if that's what you want to go see, then that's great. It's a rehash of everything you've seen before. Nothing really special, nothing really new. There were a couple battle scenes that were nice, but when you're watching for that long, is it worth it? Even though this movie might reach out to a few people, it's no longer a franchise for the masses. Or for me, in this case. Anyways, guys, my name is Jerem. This has been Voltage Bros. I review a new movie every week, and at the end of the month, me and my brother Kenny, the Voltage Bros, will do a live stream where we talk about all the movies that we've seen throughout the month. And during that live stream this month, I'm going to be talking to Kenny about my thoughts during the first and second Avatar movies, because I did watch those recently. And there is one problem I have with the first Avatar movie, but I think that problem has a easy solve. So I'm going to talk about that with Kenny this time. So subscribe if you guys want to join the conversation when that happens. Anyways, I've got a bolt.